So tell us about your song, I Don't Know.
IDK. I wrote that, I want to say 2022. I want to say I wrote that in 2022. And I was going through the phase of figuring out I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I was going through this phase of figuring out what was truly meant for me and what wasn't. Whether that was people, whether that was, the next steps in my future. It was just, I was facing a lot of frustrations because I was realizing a lot of truths and a lot of what we like to call hard truths, and even in the first lyric, it's like life revealed things that we refuse to see, I was just being honest, I was in denial about a lot of things. And it was one of those phases where it was kind of hitting me all at once. And I was just so frustrated. And I have a very big heart, like that's something my parents, if you ask my parents, that's the first thing they'll always say.
Aww.
I have a very big heart, and that is definitely very true. I'm a very loving, giving person. I love to give, and I love love just in general. It doesn't matter what kind it is. It's just, I love love itself. So when I feel like my love is not appreciated, or more importantly, when you realize it's not, that's what that was about. And just, I was sitting there with myself and I was figuring out like, where do I go from here? Like, what do I want for myself? As far as my own boundaries and as far as who I want to have in my life and where I want to be in life. 'Cause I remember I was in a very, very not so happy relationship. That's the nicest way to put it. I was in a not so happy relationship. My situation at work wasn't the best. Even thinking back on it, I was like, damn, I hate it. But I told myself, I'm in the middle of writing. I remember I was like, no, I can't keep being angry. I can't keep being frustrated. I can't just keep complaining. I got to be real with myself, and I got to be real with what's happening right now. And even though I don't know where I'm going, I know where I want to go. And that's a place of peace. And that's the better version of myself. And I see that for myself. And the second verse is all about me finally like being like bunk it. And it's kind of like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm talking to myself where I'm like, you know what? No, it's time. It's time to put on your big girl pants, and it's time for you to start really making some big girl choices so you can get to the person that you want to be.
Yes. I mean, everybody can relate to that. A lot of people can relate to that. Can you let us know what is the most difficult thing about being an independent artist and pursuing music?
Real talk?
Yeah, if you could think of one thing.
Income. You know, like it is very hard for an independent artist to be able to provide and supply and finance a consistent career. Yeah. I feel like networking is a challenge that like us artists have as independent artists, but being able to find, substantial work or being able to find income to pay for photo shoots, pay for these venues that we're trying to be booked at, pay for, like, for example, I have a band, and I'm not the only one who does, but paying musicians, and that's rehearsals and studio sessions and music videos, like all those things add up. And I definitely feel like that's something that without definitely blind faith and very, very strong self-belief. I'm not saying that's the end all be all for independent artists, but there does come a point where if you ask yourself, if this is something you really want to do with your life, or if you really want to turn this into a career, then how can I start, getting some of the money back that I've already put into it, and being able to also use that money to give back to the community. At least that's how it is for me. Yeah. So I definitely feel like that's one of the hardest things for independent artists, especially now with the crappy economy that we're in. It's hard for everyone out here, just for regular 9 to 5, but to also, substantially provide for a music career.
And that's constant. You always have something going on.
And that's any creative, any independent artist that is trying to really push up their platforms and push themselves. Like it's really does take sacrifice and like investment. Like that word is very important,
Absolutely.
investment, not just investing in yourself, emotionally and mentally, but, financially as well,
Yeah. And, we have to get to the bright side of things. What would you say is the most fulfilling thing about being an independent artist and pursuing music? What do you love the most about this journey so far?
Honestly, my courageous fans. That's what I like to call them.
Ooh, that's cute.
Yeah, that's what I like to call them. I like to call them my courageous fans or my courageous friends. Some of them say fans, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I call them my courageous friends, mainly because there's nothing for me. There is nothing like getting on that stage. Like whether I have my band, which I started my own band this year, or being on stage as a hostess on one of my platforms that I have. I'm a host. I curate 2 events in the city called A Spark of Courage and MC Mania, or just performing on my own. Like it's just nothing gives me more boost of energy than being on stage and singing a song and looking out and seeing somebody dancing with me.
Yes.
Or seeing somebody like rocking out with me, or if they come to me after the show and was like, I really loved your performance. And whether it's something from a compliment like that to someone pulling me to the side and like, thank you for sharing your story with me.
Yeah.
And like, it's moments like that really, really is a very nice moment of reassurance when we're up there giving our vulnerable selves and wondering if it's being received or even if you don't care how it's being received, which I like now I can say as an artist, it's not something that I long for or look for, but it definitely gives a moment of real, genuine connection between 2 strangers. And that's what my music's all about. So
absolutely. It makes it worth it, right?
Yeah, it does.
So with all of that in mind, what would you say is the most valuable lesson that you've learned thus far throughout your journey in the music industry?
Stay present with yourself.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. That was a lesson I even had to learn over the past couple of years, that it's very, very easy to get like talking about circling back to the income thing. It's very easy to get lost in that type of stuff. Like even though that's something that is a hardship of being an independent artist, that's not the thing that makes you an artist. You know what I'm saying? And just staying present with yourself as far as where you are in your artistry and where you are in your own journey and what you want to do with it. That's very, very important. And at least for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, you've already teased at this a few questions ago. You mentioned that you do have 2 platforms of your own that are around music itself.
Yes, I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Well, I curate an annual hip hop tournament with this great MC. His name is TJ Foreplay. I mentioned him earlier because he helped me with the pronunciation of my name for the world. But we curate a hip hop tournament called MC Mania every year. That is a hip hop / wrestling inspired tournament because we're both wrestling fans. So we wanted to create a tournament that didn't necessarily feel like a competition, because that's not what we want it to be either. Because WWE has storylines. The wrestling. We're not copywriting WWE. I promise. Okay, we're not ripping ideas.
You ain't gonna catch us slipping.
Okay, but we just wanted to give the feel of 2 MCs in the ring just spitting bars. Like sometimes we have themes, sometimes we just let them do freestyles. We do have judges, but the prizes are things that they can use in their own artistry, whether it's a spot on my other platform, which I'll talk about in a second, or a photo shoot with me. There you go. Or a feature with TJ Foreplay or his producer Kembari, which is also one of my producers that I produce with all the time. But just we always try to come up with different prizes that actually benefits the artist in the long run. Like in this, again, no shade to anybody. Cash is good. But we said we wanted to do something different, which is they can invest in them, and it's really cool. We had our second one this past June, and our third one will be next year, between March and June, date pending. And my other platform is a monthly showcase that I curate called A Spark of Courage, which is an R&B hip hop showcase that just highlights artists in the local area. I have someone next month coming from Baltimore, which I'm very excited for. Yes. And it's just like what I've been saying, artists that see the worth in themselves as far as I want to take this as far as I can. You know, I don't even like whether that's the Grammys or that's being able to make a solid income from their careers and from their artistry, giving them some time to be able to showcase who they are on that stage. And they get an hour set.
Okay.
Yeah, they get an hour set.
Nice.
And, you know, everybody contributes equally. It's also a showcase where, you know, the artists get paid. And I bounce between doing live band shows and performance track shows. And I always try to stay hands-on with the artists as well throughout the process leading up to the show. Just honestly, just giving some knowledge and experience that what I've gained from, you know, doing hour sets on my own, or, you know, putting together a band, and just, you know, the things that I've learned and how I want to be treated as an artist, you know, which is fairness and equality. So that's what my two platforms are about. And A Spark of Courage I curate on my own, but MC Mania, I'm very gladly a co-founder with TJ Foreplay, and Kim Bari has a really great hand in it as well. He provides all of the beats for the show, and they're two really great growing platforms that I'm very proud of.
Yes, girl, you lit.
Thank you.